Hey friends, welcome back to Homeschoolology. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here to chat with me today. If you are new here, my name is Nikki. I'm a homeschooling mom of 4. I have an upcoming 9th grader, 5th grader, 1st grader, and kindergartner, and it will be our 10th year of homeschooling. So it is a big year for us. 10th year, first high schooler, all my kids schooling, the whole 9 yards. So we are excited, and today's video is a video request from you guys, and it is homeschooling multiple children at once. So now that I have 4 schooling, which my upcoming kindergartner, she kind of did school with us this past year also. It was just less strict as far as her participation. So anyways, let's dive into this topic. I am going to give you a few tips on how to homeschool multiple children at the same time. Yes, it's the more kids you add, the more time homeschooling is going to take from your day. There's just no way around it. However, there are a few things that you can do to kind of help alleviate that, extended period of time. So the first one, and my favorite one, is grouping your children. So do as many family subjects as you can, or group your children into like similar ages. Like I have my older kiddos and my younger kiddos, and so I do things with my older kiddos, and then when they're done, I do things with my younger kiddos, or vice versa, however the day is going. And grouping your children and working with your children in groups is going to help save a lot of time, okay? Anything you can do as a complete family is even better, top notch. There are plenty of unit studies out there that you can do that includes the whole family. So that is probably my number one tip, and the number one thing to do is group your children so that you can work with things together rather than working with them separately, because the more you can do together, that's going to save time. All right, tip number 2 is work on building independence, okay? Work on building that independence as early as possible. So you want to have your students being able to have workbooks that they can work on independently while you're working with other kiddos, okay? So you're gonna choose at least, 1 or 2 subjects that don't involve mom, something that they can do on their own. So either a workbook or like video lessons or something like that they can do where they don't need mom, okay? And this is beneficial because that frees mom up, but also because teaching independence is going to be super important for learning. You want to teach your kids how to be independent learners so that they can do their own learning as they get older and move on. It's just going to save you so much in the long run. And it's going to be better for your children because they're going to know how to do things independently. So we use workbooks here for this purpose. So like I have my older kiddos use word roots and like 1 or 2 other things that they can do completely on their own. So we sit down at the table together, and I do have some video that I'll probably put in here as like B-roll of where I've filmed like a day in the life, and I'll link that video here where we did like a whole week and you got to see my whole week. But basically I sit in the middle, my kids sit on either side, and I will work with this daughter while this daughter works on that workbook that she can do by herself. Then, so I'm doing sequential spelling where I have to read the words with this daughter, and this daughter is working on the workbook, and if she has a question, I'm here for a question, but she doesn't necessarily need me for the workbook. Then I'm gonna switch, and this daughter is gonna work on her workbook that she doesn't need me as much for, while I do sequential spelling with this daughter that she needs me for. And then we're just gonna kind of like bounce. I'm just gonna counter bounce back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then after we do that, we're gonna do our group subjects together, which is history and science usually. That might change a little bit this upcoming year because I think I'm gonna have them working on a couple of separate things. But my oldest is gonna be more independent, so that works for us. But just being able to have them do things independently is going to save you a ton. And you can even do this with like younger kids. Like, you don't necessarily have to help a kindergartner with their handwriting, you know, show them what to do and then let them do it while you work on something else. What do my other kids do while I'm working with these two? Okay, so like I've grouped my kids into two groups. What do these kids do while I'm working with these kids? Okay, they are normally not at the table at this point. They are normally either having some screen time or playing in the playroom or maybe eating a snack, or I've set them up with Play-Doh or something like that, where they are working on something else while I'm working with these kids so that they can have my full focus. Then when we switch, my older kids can entertain themselves, obviously, so they will go entertain themselves, and I will work with my younger two at the same system, bouncing back and forth. So I will put them both down, and then I will help this one while the other one works on completing a worksheet. So like, for instance, well, a lot of what they do together because they're really close in age. They're only 2 years apart, but like cognitively they're really close. Like my daughter is a little bit more advanced and my son is not like, he's just not as interested in learning. Okay, so they kind of are at a similar point as far as like their learning. Obviously my son is older, so he's able to pick up things easier and things like that. So I hold him to a little bit different standard than I hold my younger daughter to. You know, I'm hoping she'll just pick up as much as she can along the way, that kind of deal. And so I work with them while I'm working, you know, while my olders are off doing whatever they want to do. So, and then if we have any family subjects, I will pull my older daughters back in and we will work on that. So that's typically how our system goes. Sometimes I will work with the youngers first and then work with the olders. But it's kind of nice for the olders to have that break between their individual stuff and the family stuff at the end of the day. Just, you know, so that they're not getting totally burnt out. The littles tend to do a little bit better when we get to our family things. So like, you know, because their day is a lot shorter. Okay, when you have multiple kids, you can't do it all. Okay, so like the people want to do it all, you know, as homeschoolers, as we want to do all the things. So we want to do all the lessons, all the subjects, and you just simply can't. Okay, even if you have one kid, you simply just can't do it all. It's just not possible. But when you have multiple kids, you can get even less done. Okay, it's just the short truth of it. Okay, so you are going to have to set your expectations lower. So my little kids, they only do our language arts, which is pinwheels, which includes everything. So like phonics, reading, writing, grammar, all of it is in one program. And then they do math. Everything else is that they do are family subjects. So we do like woven melodies and some literature study and things like that. They do with my older kids. And obviously I'm not expecting the same standard of retention and learning from them as I am from my older daughters, you know, and my older kids are normally going to have some kind of extension activity that my younger kids don't do. Okay. So, but their stuff is just getting done much faster because they simply just don't have as much of it. Okay. They are going to have the time to do all those extra things later on when my older kids are completely independent learning or not, you know, have graduated. Then I have more time to focus on my younger kids and doing all the things. Okay, so you have to change your expectations. You're not going to get it all done, and that's fine. Okay, I like to work on things like, so maybe work on art for, you know, a couple of weeks. That's going to be like our main family thing that we're doing, and then maybe the next couple of weeks we're going to read a book and do activities based on that, and then the next couple of weeks we're going to work on, you know, a family science thing, you know, kitchen science and something like that. Okay, so learning, like keeping things going like that is going to be a lot easier to maintain than trying to fit everything into one day every day. You are going to be able to dive deeper, learn more. Your kids are going to be less distracted, less frustrated with how much they're trying to do. Their brains are just a little bit more receptive to picking up information when it's not you're not vomiting information at them. It's just easier. Okay, so let's do a little recapping here because I've kind of been spitting information out at you. So number one was grouping your kids as much as you can, as often as you can, grouping them into either smaller groups or doing things as a family, working on building independence so that you can have kids working independently while you're working with another student, so that people are all working at the same time, but that you're not necessarily being pulled in so many different directions. Working on lowering your expectations of what you can achieve. I'm not saying that you can't cover all the things. I'm just saying you can't cover all the things at once. Okay, you're gonna have to rotate some of these things. Whether that's like on Mondays we do this subject and on Tuesdays we do that subject, or we're gonna do this subject for a couple of weeks and then we're gonna do this subject for a couple of weeks. You just understanding that you can't do it all at the same time. You're going to have to meter those expectations. And then the last one is going to be outsourcing. Okay, so sometimes when you have lots of kids, you're going to need to outsource something, whether that be doing like school lessons on Outschooled, or using video lessons for math, or some kind of program online where they can somebody else is helping you teach some of these things. Okay, outsourcing is going to be very, very valuable. A lot of times that costs a little bit more, so you have to keep budget in mind there, but being able to outsource at least 1 or 2 subjects for at least 1 or 2 kids is going to be really beneficial to helping you just fit it kind of all in, and so that is going to be my final tip for you, and I think that's going to be it for me today. So as I said, I hopefully have included a little bit of like B-roll that's showing you like how I bounce back and forth between my kiddos, and how like I work with 2 kids at a time, and how we where I have maybe I'll pull up a thing on my computer to kind of show you like our flow, and I don't necessarily plug something in for all the categories each week. We're just going to take this week we're going to focus on doing science. So we're going to do a bunch of science experiments this week, and then the next week we're going to focus on art, and I'm going to put a bunch of YouTube videos on that are going to teach my kids how to draw different things or how to do a certain art activity, because that was outsourcing, and we're focusing on art for the week. Or I'm going to do I'm going to do a lesson on an artist, and they're going to watch some videos about that artist, because I'm outsourcing the information, and while I've facilitated getting everything ready, that I'm not actually having to teach it. So while maybe my older 2 are doing a study on Van Gogh, my younger 2 are going to color, use colors that he would have used to make some kind of painting, or while my older 2 are going to be watching a video and learning about his techniques and maybe drawing something that's a little bit more advanced. And those kinds of things, I'm going to do those kinds of things to help, like I'm going to outsource. I'm going to have my kids work independently. I'm going to group my kids together so that we're learning all about the same thing. And I'm not having to like pull myself in so many different directions. So I want to hear from you. I know I have some people who out there who have been homeschooling either longer than me, or, as long as me, or, even just a couple of years. I feel like once you get 2 or 3 years under your belt, you are good. You are experienced. You know the deal. I want to hear from you. What do you think? What are your tips for homeschooling multiple kiddos at once? What helps you kind of get through your day without spending your entire day doing schooling? I want to hear it, because, even though we've got a system that kind of works for us, we can always make improvements, right? So share those things down below. If you have any other questions about this, let me know down below. I'm happy to answer them the best that I can and share with you guys, like as much as I can, because I want to help you. Our system works great. We're normally done with school in between 2 and 4 hours, depending on like what we're doing that week. That's all 4 of my kids done in that time, because we are doing things like having independent activities and grouping my kids together, and outsourcing. I outsource math for my older kiddos, and I've lowered my expectations. We are not trying to accomplish everything every day. And so I've done all those things, and that's really helping with keeping our day nice and short. And yeah, so I think that's going to be it for me today. If you haven't already, I would love it if you would go down and hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to check us out over on Instagram at Homeschool-ology, and come back and chat with me again real soon. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.